I'm gonna be straight. I've had this mini PC right here for 2 months, let's put it that way, something like that. I've been messing around with it a lot, and I finally decided I should probably conclude the video. Yeah, this is the GMKTec EVO-X2. I bought this myself. I actually didn't buy it direct off them, though you can. I'll leave a link for that. I bought it off of AliExpress, off of a good seller. Another option as well. I'll put a link to that down below. What is this? Well, this is, I guess, the most powerful mini PC with an iGPU on the market. I think there's a couple others that are coming out with this same iGPU CPU combo, but as it stands right now, this is, I mean, the same as them. So technically I can still say it's the most powerful. Might be some other along there. The only way to really get a more powerful mini PC in this kind of size, it looks small, it looks big on camera, but it's actually very small. You see that there? It's not very big. It's bigger than a micro PC, but it's still very much a mini PC. Anyway, the only way to get a more powerful thing than this would be buy something like the Lenovo P3 Ultra and get yourself like an ATA 4000 inside of it, which costs a fortune. Like that thing costs like $4,000. I just finished a review of it. I bought it as well. Okay, so here's the mini PC. I've had this for a very long time, and I've just been messing with it. I didn't want to rush this review because everyone else rushes reviews. Not everybody, but a lot of the big channels rush reviews. And why? What's the rush? Yeah, you don't get in the algo if you take your time, but sometimes it's worth taking your time. So this is a very capable machine, obviously. It's a little bit bigger than some of the like micro mini PCs, but for obvious reasons. There's a monster inside of this thing. Kensington lock slot, so no one makes off with your powerful, expensive PC. Power, headphone, microphone combo, jack, Ethernet. I don't need to use Ethernet, but you can. Faster USB-A for dongles and things like that. Very good. Two slower USB-A. These are for, where's my laptop? Mouse and keyboard peripherals, for example. Oh, it's over there. HDMI or DisplayPort, or both. USB 4 is critical. You're going to be able to run, because these have pretty good ports as it is, but it's always nice to get some more ports, for example. So I could run, for example, this is a basic one, but you can get a bigger one. You can get a storage dock because you don't have as much storage inside this as some others, like a full-fledged desktop. You can get, for example, 2 hard drives, 2 SATA drives, and 4 NVMEs or something like that. Like, you don't have physical room for any of that in here, so you can't get as much storage. So having a USB 4, though, means you can run dock. Let's just take a quick peek at the specs here on this specific model. You can get it with a couple different options. You get the Ryzen AI MAX Plus 395, I guess technically the most powerful mobile chip that exists right now. I mean, maybe you could get like the 275HX, the 9950HX from AMD and Intel, but they need more watts to get the performance of this. So performance to wattage, if you're looking at the higher performance stuff, this is the best. You do get that 8 Radeon 860S graphics, which is somewhere around like, I don't know, like a RTX 5060, probably something like that. However, you have essentially unlimited VRAM. So this system here has 64 gigabytes total. So you can see that the total on my system is 64. You can get these with 128. Nice fast memory, which is important for the GPU. I've allocated it 32. I've given it 32. So my system has 32 gigabytes of RAM, and my GPU has 32 gigabytes of RAM. Isn't that crazy to have a 32 gigabyte GPU? Not really needed for gaming. Definitely you can go over 8, 12, 16. 16 would be pretty sick. Probably 12 is enough for this level of performance. Video editing, 12 to 16 is going to be enough, but for things like LLMs, you can do more, 32, even higher if you want. You get a full SD card size here. Very good for people who do professional video editing. Don't need to run a dongle. 2 more faster storage as well. Performance modes, power, and that's that. Okay, so you do have to remove these feet to get inside. That's fine. 2. Like that there. By the way, this is a big piece of metal. Massive, massive fans inside. That's what you want to see because this thing is capable of pulling a decent amount of wattages. Strong ass tape. And show you the inside of the GMK EVO-X2. X-1. So anyways, we get pretty big heatsink here. We get a 3-pipe heatsink solution, which is actually quite a bit for the amount of, because it's just a single chip under here. So, oh, that's actually a paste. Interesting. Yeah, that's actually a paste there. I thought they would have put a PTM on here. Interesting. So PTM is a phase change material. This is a paste. I didn't actually notice any heat problems whatsoever. I mean, It's a fairly high wattage for an APU, but it's like you can't compare the cooling requirements of this to like, you know, a big Lenovo Legion or something like that with, you know, a dedicated graphics and a like an i9 14900 HX or something. That's going to be much hotter. So the fact that this has a massive 3 heat pipes set up here, and also big radiator, wherever the radiator went underneath here, I wouldn't worry about temperatures, and I've had no temperature issues. So I'm the PTM guy. Back before anyone else was talking about PTM that I know of, I was. So I got into Lenovo Legion laptops. That was kind of the foundation of my channel, and Lenovo was really the only primary brand that was using PTM, phase change material. Phase change material is superior to thermal paste because it doesn't wear out as fast. So what happens here is you put this on. It comes something kind of almost like between a paste and a pad in terms of the consistency. So anyways, you put it on, and what happens is you heat it. So you just let the system do its thing. After it's heated, it goes from that soft state to a solid material. So it melts. The first thing it does is it melts, fills in all the little micro cracks, so you get much better coverage, and then it solidifies, and it's supposed to be solid. So paste, when it solidifies, is bad. Like this is, you know, soft, so it's good, still fine. But once paste starts to really dry out, it can lose its effectiveness. This stuff is supposed to dry out, and so it does not lose its effectiveness. And from my tests, I've had PTM based laptops, like maybe a 3-year-old Lenovo Legion's probably the oldest I bought, like off of someone used, and the PTM was still like immaculate. So the advantage of PTM is, first of all, I find that it does work better than paste, and I've done much testing of that in my personal, on my channel and in personal life, both of them. And on top of that, it just lasts longer. In limited cooling solutions such as laptops, mini PCs, graphics cards, handheld devices, that kind of stuff, I find PTM extremely effective. Okay, let's do some Cinebench tests. Now this is a stress test in every snake of the word, because a lot of my viewers actually live in like really hot countries, and they're always like, why are your temperatures so cool? Well, my office downstairs was like 20 degrees. It was always cool. My office upstairs right now is not. It's like, I don't even know. It was 30 degrees outside today, and we don't have air conditioning, and it's freaking hot. What I want to do here is I want to stress test, see how hot this thing runs in my inferno of a office. So, I mean, maybe if you live in South Asia, or, you know, if you live in New Mexico or something in the middle of summer and you are gaming outside, sure, it'll be hotter than here. But I mean, this is a pretty high ambient indoor temperature, like 25, 26 degrees, pretty hot inside. So it's a pretty realistic test here. Let's see how it is. I think it's probably about 27 or 28 degrees inside. And let's see what we get here. So wattages, this is performance mode. Because we're not pulling any to the GPU, the CPU can get slammed. 140 watts peak here. Noise is reasonable for what it's doing. It's not quiet by any means. 50 dB. It's also very close to me. Like you can see, it's right in front of me. So if you move it further away, it'll be obviously quieter. But also look at the freaking score. 36,000 on Cinebench. 36,000 on Cinebench is crazy. That's like upper level desktop. Like I'm talking the best desktop CPUs out there. This is the type of stuff you're getting. I mean, it's a 16 core CPU, 32 thread monster. No throttling. There might have been like a second of throttling before the fan kicked up. Look at that. Wattages are stable at 120, even in my hot ass office here, and it's not throttling. The fans are going, but it's not throttling. Now we'll drop down here to balance mode, like that. Check the watts. How many watts did we drop there? Probably about 80. Yeah, it seems to be about 85 or 90 in balance mode. Obviously the noise is down. 47 is very reasonable. Under load. I wouldn't want it to sit like this all the time. Okay, now it's going to silent mode. See there, this should go down to 45 or 50, I'm guessing. 53, somewhere around there, pretty stable. Significantly quieter now. At 43, it's no noisier than my Ultrabook laptop when I'm doing like video editing or something like that, like rendering. It's no noisier than that, which sits on my lap. So this would not bother me at all. When I'm doing heavy work, wouldn't bother me. It also doesn't have any pitchy whine. There's no like sss, and there's no pulsing like woo, 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 to the fans. It's just fan. It's just like there is fan in this room. It's running quite well. So what we're going to do here is let's actually run these tests through here, and I'll show you what I get for actual scores once it runs right through. Okay, there's some benchmarks out here, and I'll show you some other cool stuff such as video editing. So the front USB is hooked up to a USB 4 Thunderbolt 4 dock, and it gives Thunderbolt 4 USB 4 speed. So it is a true Thunderbolt 4 USB 4 speed. They're not lying about that. That's all I want to see. Internal is this one here. It is a Crucial P3 Plus, and you're going to get P3 Plus speeds just fine. So Gen 4 whatever drive, you can throw in a second one, no problem. Reasonable enough. Wi-Fi is as fast as my Wi-Fi can go. I mean, you get nice, good Wi-Fi on these things. I'm in 2 floors up from my router, and it's getting a good signal, so that's good to see. We'll look at the benchmarks here. So silent mode, excellent. 25,530. My Ultrabook laptop with an Intel 255H, which is an outstanding CPU, I get about 20,000. So, I mean, this is looking at, I mean, you're looking at upper level mobile chip performance until you get into some of the heavy HX stuff on silent mode. Then when we go into balanced here, massive jump, 32,000. Now we're into upper level desktop level performance on balanced mode, which was like, what do we say, 80, 85 watts? That's crazy. That's crazy to get 80, 85 watts and get that. I mean, AMD absolutely cooked with this CPU. Performance mode, yeah, I let that run. This one here ran for about 5-6 minutes and it wasn't changing. It was just like around 36, 37,000. So whatever. That's the peak of the thing essentially. And again, that's upper level desktop performance. So, I mean, this tiny little thing is going to give you the same kind of performance as a desktop, and not just some random desktop. I'm talking about like a desktop with a beast inside of it. So yeah, I mean, the amount of performance you get out of this thing with the wattages that it uses is crazy. That's that there. So yeah, everything's good. Everything's good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just show you another cool thing. This thing's pretty good for video editing. It's not going to beat out, you know, like I have a, there it is. I have an RTX 5070. It's not going to beat that, obviously, but it's still very fast. So we'll come in here. Okay, so we'll bring in these 3 videos here. Watch how fast it rips these, processes the audio and the video on this. So these are 4K 60 clips. It looks like there's about 25 minutes or so. Watch this. Done. Which means we can scrub around, no problems. Right? It was essentially instantaneous. I mean, it's a monster of a chip. So, you're gonna have no problems with this thing in terms of the actual video editing. I mean, it's one of the most powerful CPUs money can buy on a consumer level, so that's gonna be fantastic. Now, of course, we can export relatively fast, way faster than some, you know, generic just software CPU level encoding. So we'll go like that. We'll just make it a test, whatever. I guess it's like how long is it here? 8.5 minutes, something like that. 8 minutes, 45 seconds. That's fine. HEVC, which is actually a pretty demanding encoding. So we'll go like that here and we'll rip that out. Now, again, it's not going to beat out like a 5070 Ti desktop or something like that, obviously. But I mean, it's still a fast, right? Let's look how fast it's going. We have unlimited VRAM essentially. So I have 32 gigabytes of VRAM. VRAM does correspond directly to video editing. There is, of course, you know, drivers, and there's other things such as, you know, just the raw horsepower of the GPU, but VRAM actually does matter for video encoding a lot, actually. So this is much faster than, like, I have an Intel 255H with also a very good iGPU, which can also, I guess, theoretically have a lot of VRAM. And that one is, when I'm video editing, I have it allocated to about, I think I have it set to 12 or something like that, gigabytes of VRAM, something like that. And I also have, it has a very powerful CPU, and it's not this fast, obviously. This is an 860S. It's much more capable. Yeah, I mean, this video clip here on my 5070 Ti would take approximately 1.5 minutes. Yeah, so we're going to go from about, so it's about half the speed, maybe, I don't know, 40% of the speed of a 5070 Ti. That's good. That may sound bad, but this is an iGPU on a little mini PC. And we're able to rip this out in 3 minutes. That would take probably about 1.5 minutes or so on a 5070 Ti, real 5070 Ti, not a laptop. So, I mean, it's freaking fast. So when it comes to video editing, I mean, if you're going to do stuff like, close that. If you're going to do stuff like multi 4K, like I don't do, I'd say my average video is probably, it depends on the video. Laptop reviews can be pretty long. They can be almost up to an hour, but I don't typically do that. I typically have around 30 minutes, and I usually have multiple streams. So I would have something like this here, right? I'd have something like this here. I'd have some clips. I usually have 2 sets of clips, and then I have some like video like overlays here, and I rip this out, and it can take quite a bit of time on my laptop, which is still fantastic for an iGPU, but this thing is massively faster. So if you're doing video editing, 4K 60 video editing, this thing is actually going to be very quick. You could get a faster machine, but you would have to build a desktop computer. You would have to buy, you know, like a gaming computer or something like that and build it, or you'd have to get yourself like an ATA 2000 or an ATA 4000, which the GPU alone costs $2,000. So very good for professional tasks. Okay, so here we are in Cyberpunk 2077. We're at 1440p. We're on high, and we just have balanced scaling on here. Actually, you know what? Let's not use FSR because it doesn't look as good. Because we have FSR 2.1, FSR 3, but we have XCSS 2.0, which just looks better. So we're going to go balanced XCSS. We're on high. There you go. XCSS just looks way better than FSR 3, at least. So, I mean, yeah, it's going to run well, obviously. 1440p, high, a little bit of scaling. You can play with the settings how you want. You could actually do some 4K here. You would need to increase, the scaling in that. But here's the thing. Look at the VRAM, right? We basically, we have 64 gigabytes of RAM in the system, just RAM. You can use some of that for system memory, and you can use some of it for VRAM. So that's one of the advantages of these systems and why people like them, because you can essentially have like crazy amounts of VRAM. If you get this one with 128, you could allocate like 96 gigabytes of RAM and still have a ton left over, like 32 gigs left over, no problems. Here I have 64 total, so I could easily do 32, 32, or I could do 16 and 48, whatever you want, whatever ratio you want, I'm just throwing numbers out. Basically, long story short, you won't run out of VRAM. You will massively run out of GPU performance well before you run out of VRAM. Excellent performance here, though. So you can do a lot of 1440p here. Now, let's change the mode here. Eco mode. Probably should run fine. 54 watts, it's so low. No frame gen here, by the way. None of that nonsense. Look at that. That's just like a clean 60 with some scaling. And again, this is the Phantom Liberty expansion in Dogtown, which is brutal to run. Like, actually brutal. 53 watts. It's really good. You could put this in a handheld, honestly. I know that GMK, what the hell's the brand now? I just said the wrong name and I can't remember. I'll flash it up on the screen. That brand that makes small handhelds. Anyways, they're going to have it. And yeah, I was really skeptical about the watts, but it looks like it does okay with low watts. You'd have to cool the damn thing. So 53 watts is a lot for a handheld. Normally you want to be around 30, but I think it's still going to scale well. Like, this is going to crush any like traditional iGPU at this rate. Let's go up again here. Balanced. Balanced I like actually on this machine. It does bring more watts, but the cooling solution is able to keep it cool without being irritating. Performance mode does give more performance, but it is also louder. But yeah, it's running quite well. And just do a little bit of native kind of stuff. So we'll go 1080p ultra, and we'll just go native. So 1080p ultra native, there should be no problems hitting 60 here. Yeah. So if you have a 1080p screen, you might want to turn on VSync because the screen doesn't have G-Sync or even FreeSync. Nothing, has nothing. So anyways, so you're going to be able to do basically a lot of 1080p gaming with things relatively maxed out. Look at the VRAM usage, 10 gigabytes. So if you had a 4060, a 4070, a 5060, or a 5070, you couldn't do this. You couldn't play as I am right now. The VRAM would be crushed, and the FPS would implode. but 10 gigabytes is nothing to this GPU. So long story short, it's going to run quite well, obviously. Conclusion times, negative. It is fairly expensive. I mean, bang for the buck, it's not expensive. So everything in context, I don't actually think it's that expensive for what it is, because the amount of performance you get out of it is crazy. The only way to really beat it, like I said in the intro, would be to get something like a Lenovo P3 Ultra mini PC with an ATA 2000, not even the ATA 2000, but the ATA 4000, which would actually not give you any more GPU performance in gaming. It wouldn't. They're very similar, actually, but it would give you more like video export rendering, I suppose. But this thing is pretty damn close to that. I just finished my review of that like a couple days ago. Yeah, just get this. Honestly, just get this. It's so good. What else is a negative? The fans aren't silent, I guess. Well, they are silent when it's just doing whatever. When you're just hanging out Windows, doing basic Windows tasks, it's very quiet. Doing CPU rendering, CPU demanding tasks such as Cinebench or something like that, or you're doing some video editing, that kind of stuff, you can hear the CPU going. It's not going to be as quiet as like a big desktop that is built to be quiet. It's actually probably quieter than some people's desktops where there's like 50 fans in it, AIO pump. But compared to some quieter systems you can build, it's not going to be as quiet. But I certainly don't find it noisy. I mean, especially with that PTM adjustment on this thing. Even in gaming, it's reasonable. Honestly, it's reasonable. It's quieter than any gaming laptop, we'll put it that way, which would be another device that would be potentially close to you. So yeah, it's actually fairly quiet. I mean, the only real negative, I guess, is like they're fairly expensive. It's not like this is like a cheap system you can buy into for $400. But if you want the best, then you buy the best, right? And the dollar value for what it is, I think I paid about 1,800 Canadian. Something like that, which is probably about 1,350 to 1,400 American for other humans. And for that, it's very reasonable for what it is. Positives, did I even say positives? Lots of ports, USB 4. USB 4, you can run docks and dongles. So if you're not happy with the number of ports on this, the storage, you can easily expand it. You get excellent cooling. Honestly, it has a beast in terms, like actually the cooling, most of the weight of this is just that monster cooling solution in there. That's fantastic. It's expandable, dual NVMe. If you need more storage, you can use like a USB 4, pop it in the back. I mean, the iGPU is insanely powerful. It's the most powerful iGPU by a mile, obviously. It's so good. And the CPU is a freaking behemoth. The other thing is low watts. Honestly, like in the performance mode testing, 125, 130 watts, it performs admirably. Very good for that kind of wattage. Balanced mode, I mean, you got the GPU down to like 80, 85. The chip itself down to 885. The CPU performance was outstanding, and then the GPU performance was shockingly good. All those watts, and honestly, I did not think that when we went down to 40, 45 watts, it would perform well in gaming, but I was proven wrong. So yeah, it's very good. It's very good. It's very, very good. That's the GMKTec mini PC. Honestly, like, yeah, if you know what's going on with this thing, you should probably buy it. If it's within your budget and it's something that you're interested in, it's very good.